And
Man, I made
we
this
are
barbecue
live, my
chicken.
good friend. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Late Night Creep. As you know, I'm your host here of I Shot Him Six Times YouTube horror movie channel, Marcus. And as always, I'm here with my good friend, my partner in crime, Destination Station. We're going to be talking some Scream 7, some Terrifier 3, and some Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey Part 2. And I must say, you guys have sparsely heard my opinion on the original one. I wasn't a big fan, but with some of the new poster arts and some of the behind the scenes stuff we got for part two, I'm willing to give it a shot. I'll say that. So this is definitely going to be an interesting conversation, especially when it comes to Scream 7. Obviously, we've gotten, Skeet came out earlier this week, talked about Melissa, what was the planned direction. Obviously, we got the confirmation that the newer Scream movies was going to be a trilogy, that it was the third film was going to be heavily focused on Samantha Carpenter and really teasing whether she was going to go to the dark side and stuff like that. We're also going to be talking about some Kirby Reed, what's going to happen with this character, because there's been a lot of steam picking up on the idea of Scream 7 being a 30-year anniversary film, kind of like Halloween H2O, where the film is going to be set 30 years after the original film. Now, this is something that I talked about in a video about, I want to say a month ago, I did this video and stuff, because Jamie Kennedy came out on his podcast with Dermot Mulroney in that interview, and he had stated the fact that, like, hey, in Scream 6 and in Scream 5, my niece and nephew, Chad and Mindy, especially Chad, they get stabbed a bunch of times. And they get to come back. I get stabbed a bunch of times, but I'm dead. Like, come on, help me get back. So once I heard Jamie say that, I'm like, okay, well, Jamie wants to come back. We know Matthew wants to come back. So how can this happen, especially in terms of Jamie, because his character's dead? Oh, I know how you can do it. Set the film 30 years after the events of the original. So this is definitely going to be an interesting conversation, man, because I'm interested to see what your thoughts is on that. But before we get into it, if you are watching this stream, definitely shoot the like button. It definitely helps out with the algorithm a ton. Share this stream. If you happen to be a new viewer to this channel, shoot that subscribe button, and also go subscribe to Destination Station. Awesome friend of mine, awesome content creator. If you're a fan of horror movies, Scream, Halloween, and as he likes to say, everything in between, you know. Also, he does some Marvel, gameplay and stuff like that. So definitely go check Destin's channel out. And yeah, this is going to be a fun time, a fun conversation, man. And I'm interested to see, and we'll hear your thoughts on Skeet's comments about Melissa and this 3-part story arc for Scream 7. So I checked the channel. I didn't see I didn't see any videos. I know you said over the last couple of days you wasn't feeling too well. So what are your thoughts on Skeet's comments? Did you get to see his comments anyway about Melissa?
I saw some headlines, but I have not dived into it. You might have to refresh my memory.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I've been kind of out of the
Okay.
loop, man. I've been pretty
So,
busy, and then I got kind of sick on Thursday, and I was like, man, I just I didn't even want to look into anything. I was kind of just like down and out, trying to get some rest.
oh, I feel that. Yeah,
Yeah.
when you ain't feeling too good, you just don't feel like doing a damn thing. And I don't blame you for, taking a couple of days
Yeah.
off to recuperate. We need that. We're humans, man.
Absolutely, man. So what is it that
But
Skeet
yeah.
said?
So okay, so I'll give you Skeet had an interview with let me be accurate. I believe it was Screen Rant or whatnot. Yes, it was Screen Rant. He had an interview with Screen Rant because he has a new movie coming out. And they asked him about what was basically the original plans for Scream 7 and just basically this whole new storyline with Samantha Carpenter. And
Mm-hmm.
he confirmed that the idea was pitched to him when he was approached for Scream 2022, that the idea was that this was going to be a 3-film story arc for the Samantha Carpenter character, and that in Scream 7, the idea was to delve more into the possibility of her turning into Ghostface and succumbing under the pressure of the family heritage and the family legacy. And
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of us, we've talked about it a few times with Scream 6 and stuff. I think a lot of us definitely thought going into Scream 7, they set the table to play into that. It just would have came down to execution in terms of turning Samantha Ghostface. Now, I have heard rumors and theories out there that apparently, and again, these are just rumors, but apparently how it was going to happen was that Samantha basically killed somebody on accident, and then that's what sent her over the edge. But basically, like, would be getting a bird's eye view into the killer's perspective in so many
Mm-hmm.
ways. And I have been an advocate, Destin, of us getting a Scream movie where it gets revealed that we have been following a mastermind killer. I'm all on board for that.
Yeah.
This, I've been a firm believer that in Scream 5, especially, there were clues, in my opinion, that you could make an argument that the direction was they could reveal Samantha as her mastermind Ghostface. That set everything
Right.
up, and that she was basically carrying on Billy's legacy, but redefining it in her own image. If the idea was to have this character go over the edge, but what put her over the edge was an accident, I personally don't know how I would have been able to accept that if we were to get that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, in my opinion, and I'm sure you will agree with this, when you watch her kill Richie and his dad, killing comes naturally to this character. It just does. In the moment of having to defend her life and defend herself, killing comes
Mm-hmm.
naturally. And if we're going to, put this character and we are going to flip her into Ghostface, I personally don't want to see it happen because of an accident. I want
Yeah.
everything to be on purpose.
I would accept it. I think I would like it better written if it was. I mean, it definitely have to be somebody that we didn't like. Like somebody that wasn't a good person, a good character, and she just
Right.
snaps, and she just kind of like takes it. She just had enough, and it just comes out, and she kills this person. I would like that more than it actually being an accident. I mean, maybe if she meant to just hurt them, but her snapping accidentally killed him, but it wasn't like an accident, like, oh, he fell over the edge, or oh, he fell off of something, whatever.
Right.
Nothing like that. Like it's not. I don't want that with her character. I think that it would be like, oh, she just wanted to hurt him a little bit. She didn't mean to kill him. I could
Right.
accept something similar to that, like she accidentally stepped too far. She went too far with it, and yeah, as far as that, like I like the idea of the POV, or we've been
Killer's
watching,
perspective.
yeah, the killer's perspective of her slowly turning into this. I still want it to be a mystery. And I want there to be something else. I don't want it to be that's all there
Right.
was. I want there to be something else, like it's like
Right.
there's a ghost face, but she's also slowly turned into this ghost face. So she's also good. We find out a couple of the people in the movie she's killed, and a couple of the people in the movie the other ghost face is killed, and then they come head to head at the end. You know, so there's still
Right.
like more mystery to chew on in that aspect. Um, man, it just sucks that it sucks that it's halted. We're not gonna see it.
Right.
we're not gonna be able to get it.
Right.
Where they're gonna have to start with something fresh, and it worries me because they were so successful, and average moviegoers, they're
Hmm.
gonna be expecting a continuation of what we just saw, and when they see that it's not a continuation, that's who you got to be worried about. That's who you got to be worried. I mean, us fans, we're
Right.
going to be showing up. We're going to watch it whether it's bad or good, and we're going to judge it. We're going to all that kind of stuff. But those average moviegoers that like that they here's what I'm trying to get at. It took a lot. You think about Scream 4 that wasn't very successful. And then you get Scream 5, you get Scream 6. They're successful. You had people that weren't even Scream fans talking about these movies, interested about these movies again, coming to see them again, and it building momentum. How do you keep that momentum going? Is it
Right.
about to just fall off dramatically, or what? And that's what I'm worried about. Like this is a very critical moment in the Scream franchise. Like, I mean, like I'm down for that also, and I'm trying to touch on everything you're talking about. I'm down for that 30-year,
Right.
legacy sequel, yada yada yada. Even if they took the New Nightmare approach, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that if it feels fresh and not forced. If it feels like something that like, okay, this is respect to Wes Craven.
Right.
This feels really good. We got everybody back, everything. But then you gotta like worry about like, well, Scream 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 just wasn't anything. I don't know. I feel like this next one doesn't need to be that sequel 30 years later. I feel like we need some closure from whatever is going on. And it's hard to do that without the Carpenter sisters. But I feel like we
Right.
need some sort of closure for this, and then we can do that at that point, what, 31, 32 years later. So I
Right.
don't know, man. We're on a damn slippery slope
I
right
just,
now.
I mean, they obviously can do it. I know. I mean, they can obviously do it because they did it with Sydney. They can just write the core four out and continue on the same timeline. I just
Mhm.
feel like by doing that, at some point, we're going to have to address that elephant in the room. We're
Mhm.
going to have to address Samantha Carpenter. We are going to have to.
Yeah.
Like at some point. I mean, and I said this in my video about it. I know a lot of people will not like hearing this, but if Scream 7 is successful, if it makes a lot of money and fans like what they see, the studio could choose not only to not sell the rights, they could choose to keep the rights to Scream. Spy Guys could completely keep the rights. But if they want to, they can recast the core four.
Mm.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I know a lot of
Mhm.
people will not be fans of that. And this is why I say that, because some will ask, oh, wait a minute, what about Chad and Mindy? Keep in mind,
Mhm.
Mason and Jasmine are really good friends. They are really tight with Jenna and Melissa. I personally cannot see them coming back without them. I can't. So
Yeah.
that whole idea of them recasting the core four just to finish this story, if Scream 7 is successful and we continue on the original timeline, I have no doubt in my mind that if they want to resurrect that storyline, Joe's just say, okay, well, we'll find somebody who looks like Melissa. We'll find somebody else to play Tara. We'll find
I
somebody
don't
else to
think.
play Maze. I mean, to play Chad and Mindy.
Yeah. Playing the same
See, I do
characters, you
too,
mean?
because also it was also said, huh?
You're saying like finding actors to play the same exact
No, I
characters.
think Yes. And the reason why I say that is because, according to sources very close to the situation, Gary Barber feels he can be successful with a Scream movie without big stars, without his big stars. That's his mindset. Because of the success, because of the success of Scream 6 without Nev, because of that turning a profit. In his mind, it's like, oh, well, y'all said the sixth one wasn't going to be successful without Nev, and we turned a profit. We turned a pretty good profit. So, oh yeah, Melissa, you want to say what you want to say? Bye. Oh, Jenna, you want more money? You can't make the schedule? Bye. It would not surprise me, especially if they did call up Jasmine and they did call up Mason. What if they would stand tall and be like, well, listen, we want to come back, but we're not coming back without the other two. Okay, no problem. We'll just recast your characters. And also, think about it like this too. By recasting the characters, they save money.
Well, yeah, that's what it's all about, is that margin.
Especially with Jenna.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, man, it's a really dark
What if
time
they
for the
make?
Scream
What if they
franchise. I
make?
mean, we're
I
supposed to be
know.
getting some news. No, what was you going to say, Destin? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I think we're like got a delay or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, there was a little
Uh,
lag. I did see that.
yeah. I'm thinking like worst case scenario, the leads of this movie is gonna be Courtney Cox or Hayden Panettiere. I think that's the worst case scenario. Now I could see Chad and Mindy getting called back for a death scene, an opening death scene, kill off their characters, be done with that. They have a quick little dialogue that Sam and Tara ran off and disappeared and won't talk to anybody, and they have this little, like, you don't know where she's at. And then next thing you know, they get a call and they end up getting
Right.
killed. Or at least one of them. So, man, I don't know how. The only thing that I could see that could be possibly acceptable in a way to redo all this stuff or do away with what we already built or what they built is doing the movie within a movie thing. Man, I could see Gary Barber pulling some asshole shit and being like, the events of Scream 6 and Scream 5 was stab within stab or something like that. Like I could see just to be a douche, man. And then we end up we're like on a stab set, and that was the whole thing, was to make a direct sequel to the original Stab. That was the whole thing of Scream 5. And
So,
but that could bring back David Arquette. That could bring back anybody.
so, so what you're saying is that you can see Gary Barber in so many ways pulling what the Scream TV series was going to do.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's interesting, bro. Imagine if they fucking did that.
It's an easy erase. It's an easy redo.
Bro, I'll be honest with you,
I
Destin.
I'm preparing myself for it, honestly, because I'm just kind of like, no, I want a continuation, but if they can't get Nev, and if they can't do this, and they can't, and everything that they're trying, they're gonna be like, all right, we're just gonna start fresh, and we're gonna act like this was all a movie within a movie.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
Right. That's
So,
crazy, man. That'd be crazy if they did that. If they did that, let
and
me ask you this.
they could do a
If they
type of
did that,
opening where you think they could do a type of opening kind of like Scream 4, where you think, oh, you're watching someone get killed, but
oh man.
it's actually a stab movie, and then we cut to, and it's like,
Right.
They could do some shit like that. I wouldn't run it by them, man. Honestly, I mean, you only have so many options with your back against the corner like this. They did it to themselves, yes, but if you don't get Sydney back in some way, you got to play something, man. You got to play something, and I
Right.
honestly feel like it could get stupid after this. You know what I mean? Like it could be one of those stupid sequels, and that's what I'm worried about. I don't want to go back down
Man.
that road. I don't want to go back down that road.
So you're thinking Scream 7 could be the first. I mean, I know how you feel about 4.
Yeah,
I know how you feel about Scream 4. But you're thinking Scream 7 could end up being like the one that breaks the consistency trend in terms of watchable Scream movies.
I think so. Yeah, it's a big possibility.
Oh man,
I
bro,
mean, you could call it. It won't be
what?
7. It'll be Scream
What?
Requel or Scream Resurrection, which was a show,
Bro,
but
I think,
you know,
bro, you know what that takes me back to? What did Anna Paquin say at the beginning of Scream 4? The death of fucking horror right before our very eyes. Like,
yeah.
oh
And,
man,
and I
bro,
wouldn't be
if they did
surprised they
that,
do something, man. I honestly, I mean, look at it like this. As much as like I feel like, all right, Scream is so good, but I feel like every time they introduce Stab more and more, my likeness of it diminishes a little bit. Like I'm kind of like,
hmm
I wish they didn't do that. I wish they scaled that back or they didn't double down on that. Um, but it's that safe card in their back pocket that's like, oh well, we could just we could bullshit this with Stab. We could, and I feel like no, this is
right,
Stab is a cop out. Stab is a cop out. Don't do that. But these Gary Barber, Spyglass, they do not love Scream like that. They don't love Scream like that. And I would not be surprised
no,
if they pull something like that, man. I really wouldn't. I don't want it. I don't. But I'm trying to prepare myself for the worst because just the situation we're in. I mean, you know, we don't know if Chad and Mindy's coming back, and even if they do, I'm really going to be watching that trailer, being like, how many scenes are them two in? Because if I only see them like once or twice, and it seems like it's the same scene, they're getting fucking killed. That's the way I'm going to be looking at that. I'm be like, okay, they might be the opening kill, you know. uh,
right,
so because they could do some trickery with the trailers. They could be like show Chad and Mindy here and there throughout, but it's like different angles, but it's really the same scene. So it could be the opening scene, like
right.
they could do some stuff like that. So I could see them acting like it's a man. I don't know, man. Like it could open up like it's a Stab movie, and we're on a Stab set, and then you would almost
Right.
still do an homage of Scream 3. You're already set on it. You're on the set of something, and I mean, I just don't know, man. We need some closure on who are our players here. Who's in this movie and who's not? Is Nev back? Is she not? What's here? They have to be giving us something, you know, something soon. But like I said, several times in other videos, everyone's like, "Oh, well, I don't think we're going to see it in 2025." I think we're definitely going to see it in 2025. I think they're still going to set that. Whether when in 2025, think about it like this: with Saw, they haven't even started filming yet, right? They just had a writer, they just had a director,
This
official.
well, March,
Exactly.
March,
And
March is
and when
it's
and when does it come out? September, the end of September.
September.
Think of it like that. They still have time to play with Scream.
Oh yeah, they definitely do. It's
So,
interesting you brought up. It's interesting you brought up the 2025 that because I believe that it is also going to
What's
still
up,
be
Dom?
released in 2025. And yes, what is going on, Dom? My apologies. I ain't gonna lie. Destin said something about Scream coming out next year, and I have something that's like been ringing in my head over the last few days about that and stuff. But it's good to see you here though, Dom. Thank you for stopping in, my friend. Dom saying the studio keeps firing the actors.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, apparently significant progress has been made. Rumored anyway, so we'll see how it plays out. But
Well, see the way they're
real quick, I do want to no, go ahead. That's what was you saying?
no, I'll be real quick. The way that they're so easily firing the actors and letting people go, it's like they almost are looking for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're like, "Oh, that benefits us because we're already thinking about going in this direction." Yeah, the money for sure, but they have a story or an idea of which direction they really want to go in with this. And
Right.
maybe it'd be easier without the core four. So
Oh, it
maybe they
definitely.
want to
It
maybe they
definitely
want to do another they want to do another Scream 5. They were like, "Oh, let's reboot a reboot. Let's reboot it again. Let's do a different direction now."
right.
So,
I mean, that's not impossible. Neither. I mean, they could definitely. What if their idea was to basically do what Wes was going to do? With Scream 5.
mhm.
Follow the killer. Let the killer live, and we're following the killer.
Yeah.
It definitely can happen. I feel like with and it's interesting again, you brought that up because like you said, it's like they're not even trying to keep the actors. Well, it's definitely easy to do this movie without the core four if you really are trying to get Nev and Patrick Dempsey because Jenna's asking price has significantly skyrocketed since Scream
Mhm.
5 and Scream 6. Melissa, her price is only going up, because she's got a lot of projects. She's out there, man. So if you are trying to do this movie and basically cost cut, any little reason to cost cut, that makes a lot of sense. Why you are so like, oh, okay, every little reason, boop, you're gone and stuff. But this is my hope. And then I'm going to bring up the whole 2025 release thing because I want your opinion on this idea for the story anyway, if we do get Nev back or whatnot.
Okay.
But my not only hope, but what I think could happen is this. The only way Spyglass will sell the rights to Scream is if Scream 7 does good, but it doesn't do great. And then say, you
Yeah,
know what? We've had to deal with all this fan backlash. We didn't make the same amount of profit we did off Scream 6. Scream 7, it didn't work because the fans that wanted Melissa or these core four characters back, they didn't really show up. Yes, we got all the OG fans to show up because we brought Nev and them back, but Scream 7 just didn't hit the way we wanted it to hit. The way we thought
mhm.
our direction was going to work, it didn't work to that degree we wanted it to work. Okay, we're willing to hear offers. Who I can see picking up the Scream franchise and possibly we could get Melissa back, we could get the core four back, is Radio Silence themselves because they just started that production company with that group.
Yeah. I mean,
So
yeah, I
they
mean,
could
yeah, that's a
sit there and buy the
possibility if
rights to
they're
Scream.
if but here's the thing is what's that price tag going to be because they're a new production company. Are they willing to buy something at such a high point, or are
That
they
is
looking
true.
for lower properties to kind of like build their their studio a little bit? So, you know, Yeah, it'd be
Well, see, that's
great.
what they did say is that they're basically this studio is to build new concepts for horror movies. So they're
Yeah.
definitely going to be building new horror movies with this production and stuff.
Mhm.
But what's going to also help get that production even more out there is if you have that one
Mhm.
franchise, that one
The
ear
Saw.
ringer that everybody knows.
If they get the Saw of
You know what I
Lionsgate,
mean? Like
that puts it on a map.
exactly. Right. So I'm hopeful that that could happen because I personally, my hope was for Scream 7 was that if we were going to bring Stu back, even if you don't turn Samantha Ghostface, I wanted Stu to interact with both Samantha and Sydney because that holds so much weight, in my opinion.
Mhm.
You have Sydney, who was Billy's girlfriend, and she's the one who killed them, and she thought she killed Stu. Then you have Billy's daughter. Then you have Stu's original fucking partner. Like the stars, the sun, and the moon, it just aligned so perfectly in that situation.
Mhm.
And it sucks because I don't know if we're ever gonna get that. And I'm even more inclined to think we won't. But what I think we could get, and this is where I'm gonna lead into the whole 2025 release that you brought up, that the movie is still going to be released in 2025. What if the story is based 30 years directly after Maureen's death? You got to think 2025 is 30 years. September 28th, 2025 is the anniversary of Maureen's death.
Mm.
What if somebody starts basically doing murders based on just, I want to say based on just the anniversary of Marine to get to Sydney, but obviously the fact that it is the anniversary of Marine's death, that would be a nice segue to bring Sydney back. Now, like that's a purpose to bring Sydney back. Somebody is starting these new murders coming after Sydney 30 years after the events of her mother being killed, and it has a link to her mother or something.
So would it be another sibling?
I don't know about another sibling.
Or it could be another lover. It could
Could be
be
even Hank Loomis.
Hank Loomis or somebody that didn't that was a lover other than Hank Loomis. I don't know. It's interesting. I like it.
Or it could be Stu. It could just this is also how you can still bring Stu back in a situation.
Mhm.
Because now these murders are happening again, and he was the one. He was one half of the people, one half of the guys who killed Marine.
Right.
So I feel like if it could be written correctly, there might be something there.
And it's always like a
Like it's
misconception
it's
to
interesting, man.
like and I'm even guilty of this. Like earlier on watching the Scream films, I always just assumed Maureen got killed at the hotel, but she really got killed at the house and
The house.
the
Hmm.
master bedroom that we never really got to see. We got to see like an aftermath of it, like a recreation in Scream 3, but it really would be cool to see that go down and then seeing like Sydney seeing someone leaving wearing the jacket and she thinking it was Cotton Weary, just like from her perspective, like the camera cuts to her
Hmm.
looking down the hallway and seeing someone leave with that jacket or down the stairs or something, and she assumed that it's Cotton Weary. Yeah.
Right. I will say this, and this is why I made the video that I made, and I think I made it early last year. And I went back and streamed 96 and I made sure I listened to the audio and stuff before I did it and all that stuff to make sure I wasn't like hearing things or not hearing things. And
Hmm.
the one thing that always bothered me about Marine's death and the fact that Sydney was around was why didn't she do anything? You know, You could, because in Scream 3, they vividly depict as if Sydney would have been able to hear those screams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for them cries for help. She would have been able to hear them and stuff. And it just and some people was like, oh, well, you know, she was young and this and this and that. I'm like, yeah, but that was literally a year before the events of Scream 1996.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think there would be that
She
much of a
wasn't that
difference in
young.
terms of her survival. Yeah, I don't think there would be that much difference in terms of the survival instincts and
Yeah.
stuff. You're hearing, and then this is another thing. She remember the girls in the bathroom. She watched her mom get butchered. Well, by having that girl say that line, you are implying that Sydney watched Maureen die. Like by saying, "Oh, she watched her mother get butchered," that's implying that Sydney was right there while the knife was being plunged into her mother.
I would say she saw
And
from her door. I'd say she saw from her bedroom down the hallway into the bedroom, if anything. Like she opened up
right,
her door, saw the killer, saw the struggle, and the killer leave. And maybe she got scared and like hid back into her room. That's how I would like film that, you know?
right. It's just stuff like that that just always fascinates me when you go back and rewatch the movie and you listen to things. Just like, well, wait a minute. Well, what? Wait a minute. Well, why? Okay, so then if that's the case, why the fuck she ain't help her? You know what I mean? Like shit
Right.
and stuff. But just there's always going to be stuff like that in movies. Yeah, like there's always going to be stuff like that in movies, and Scream is no exception to that and stuff. Like it just
Yeah.
happens like that. But man, so let's pivot here to
Okay.
the Kirby Reed movie, to the Kirby Reed Scream movie.
Okay.
I think if they don't get Nev back, this is a direction we could go in. And the reason why is because how Scream 6 set it up. We know for a fact that there had to be more ghost face attacks happening. Because why else would Kirby specialize and take a special interest in ghost face attacks? So,
Yeah, there had
I
to have been
mean,
other attacks. There had to have been because we haven't seen her. I mean, because there's definitely been other attacks since Scream 4, but we didn't see you taking
right,
special interest in that. We didn't see you showing up to those crime scenes and investigating or anything. So there had to have been multiple. And I think that's what they were talking about with Scream 6. Like yeah, this is a thing. Like this can happen anywhere. Now, did it happen like consistency, like, or was it like a one death and done? You know, like someone got killed as a ghost face, but it wasn't like there was any type of real motive. They just like wanted to do it. You know, the ones that are like the real motive is what with the with the Carpenter sisters or with Sydney. So that's something she could, I mean, or there could be other side stories where she in Atlanta um was on some cases and um I don't know, I think it would be kind of cool if they did take this approach and I'm not mad about it at all. I think it's kind of neat. Um I would like it to tie into a little bit. It doesn't have to be a lot with Jason at the beginning of 6. Like because she was on their case or whatever. Like like if they were loosely connected to something in Atlanta or something like that, you
right.
know. And it's like, oh yeah, that's Jason and so and so. Yeah, we got to keep an eye on
Right.
them, you know, like or
Yeah,
something
because
like
there
that. Just
there had
something
to be a reason
simple.
why she was watching them.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So it makes you think that like they could take it to Atlanta and show her back there and some of the cases that she's already done or will do in the future. I'm not mad about it, man.
Right.
I just don't know if I want it right now. I don't know if I want it for 7. I feel like
You
we're not. I can't. That's not closure enough for me to jump to that to what we're doing with right here. It's like we got to build that bridge to it. You know what I mean? Like we can't just like
Right,
beam me up, Scotty. Now we're over here, and it's just kind of like Scream's never done that. So I don't know, man.
right, bro. I, I've had this idea, you know, with Kirby, doing the whole spin-off thing. There is many avenues that could open up if they were to go in that direction. It would open up a lot of avenues to be introduced to new killers who aren't doing it out of revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Killers who may not even be particularly fans of the Stab franchise. There's so many there's opportunity there. But I will say this, man. If let's just say we don't get Nev back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't know what timeline this is going to pick up with, even if they were to bring Kirby in as the main protagonist and stuff. And maybe I'm just being a fucking fanboy and stuff like that. But I think it would be cool, right? If you were to do like a Scream movie where we are following Kirby as the main protagonist, but as every great detective, you need a little bit of help, even from a psychopath every once in a while, a la Clarice Starling and Hannibal Lecter. I think it would be a cool segue to retcon Charlie Walker's death.
Oh, here we go.
Listen.
I
Have him
got you.
locked up, have him
Yeah.
locked up, right? Because again, we have to take this into account. The whole concept of the Ghostface cult with Stu Macher, somebody resemblant to Charlie Walker's character was supposed to be in that Ghostface cult, the Woodsboro Cinema Club, and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So, what if this motherfucker? Okay, he lived. He survived that stab wound to the heart, which was really the shoulder. I don't care what anybody says. You
Shoulder.
know. So let's say he survived. Right. It's funny you say that because I'm actually creating a T-shirt saying #shoulder me.
There you go,
I'm
dude. Hell
going
yeah,
for it, bro.
dude. That's
So
cool.
anyway, hell yeah. So, um, so my
Put it on the
idea was
back. The
okay. So
heart.
you retcon
That's not how
he's
we
alive,
rehearsed it.
right? So we retcon Charlie being dead. He's alive, but he's locked away in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Kirby's dealing with a new Ghostface case or whatever and stuff like that, but she's having a hard time utilizing her horror fan skills and her detective skills to really hone in on this killer.
Mm-hmm.
She goes to Charlie for help, much like Clarice Sterling did with Hannibal Lecter.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be a nice little nuance. And Charlie, maybe Charlie, hey, I know about this Ghostface cult. I know who's running it. I know everything, but I'm not going to tell you who it is. I'll just give you little breadcrumbs, much like Hannibal Lecter did with Clarice Sterling. I think that would be a nice add to the whodunit factor. And I'm not saying I want to see Charlie released from prison and stuff like that, or like him get broken out of prison and be brought into the final act. I actually would just like to see him stay in that spot because, in my opinion, I think that would add to his character. I think that would get a lot of people who don't like the Charlie Walker character. I think they might actually be like, huh, I actually like him in this light. Because again, this is another thing you can play off of it with it too. He was supposed to be the new Randy. So he would know his shit. And what led me to actually think about this idea. I don't know if you have ever watched this show, but if you haven't, check it out. It's a banger, bro. It's called Found. And it has I forget exactly how to pronounce his name, but it has Zach from Saved by the Bell in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or whatnot.
Mark
And he's a kid
Glosser.
Gosselaar or some shit like that.
Yeah.
He plays a kidnapper we're following this black girl who grew up, and she's like basically she tries to help find missing people. But we're
Mm-hmm.
also following her story as well. She was kidnapped by him, but then she ends up
Oh,
tracking him down as an adult and kidnaps him. Like she kidnaps the kidnapper, and she uses him to help her with her cases that she needs help solving.
okay.
And that's where I came up with this idea like, okay, if you're going to retcon certain things, and if you're going to make Kirby Reed the main protagonist, why not go in that direction for her and Charlie Walker's character? I
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that at all. You don't have to have Charlie be part of the Ghostface cult. Just have him in that type of role. I think that that would just embellish that character so much more, man. Like I really do.
Yeah, I've never even seen this show, but now I'm looking at it.
Bro, check it out. It's a fucking banger, bro. I fuck with it, bro. It's
Yeah.
good. It's so good. It is so good. Like it's good, bro. I'm telling you,
Uh,
give it a watch. It's
I don't feel
and
like
I will
Mark
say
Paul
this,
Gosselaar. I don't feel like he gets enough recognition.
bro. His work, I'm gonna put it this way. If they were gonna do a new Hannibal Lecter movie, a new Silence of the Lambs, I want him to be Hannibal. He is so good
Damn.
in that, bro. He is so good in that show with his mannerisms and the way he says words and the shit that he says, bro. I'm telling you, like he got that role down to a T. He kills it.
Yeah.
Absolutely kills
Yeah.
it.
Nice. Yeah. 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 I'm looking at
But
it,
yeah,
man.
man, like
It looks dope.
I think that would just be something different to add to the whole who done it aspect of it and stuff like that, especially for the Kirby Reed character. But we'll see, man. We'll see how it all plays out, man. We'll see. I know who
That's
you
one thing.
think is going to be the
It's like
director.
you can't introduce Kirby back and all these ideas and then just squash them like, oh no,
Abandon
it
him.
was all you're gonna piss us all off, even the fans, not the
Right.
fans, the regular moviegoers. You're gonna piss everybody off, and everybody's gonna think you're a joke again, and we're gonna be like, no,
Right.
we're not invested. We're checked out. And
Right.
hey,
What's
man,
up,
how you
man?
doing? So, I mean, I think it needs to be a
No,
continuation.
you're absolutely right about that. They're gonna. You're already. My whole thing is this: why go through the trouble of okaying making new characters within the old timeline if you knew at some point if something was said the wrong way, you were going to basically eliminate them out of that movie.
Hmm.
Because that's just how I feel about it. One wrong word, one wrong action, and you're cut.
Hmm.
Okay, so why get us introduced to these characters? Why make us fall in love with these characters just to take it away? And now what you do with that is you kind of hurt the older characters now too. Because do not get me wrong, do we want to see these legacy characters? Yes. But what was the biggest thing going into Scream 5? I mean, even coming out of Scream 5. Yeah, sure, we got our legacy characters back, but one, we didn't get them back for a long time. And two, you didn't develop these new characters right. Now that you develop these new characters right, we want to see more of them. We want to see them back. We want to see how the story concludes. And also, how does it affect our original characters? How do they
Yeah,
play a hand into the events on how this story is going to conclude? Now you just fucked it all up. Like it's crazy. Like it's sad, man. Like it's so sad. I
I
mean,
I think one thing that we can be for sure about is that Courtney Cox is coming back.
mhm.
regardless, I think that she's going to be another executive producer on the film, which
Mm-hmm.
she was with Six. She's going to have some type of creative control. You never know what's being done behind the. She could be like, I want to be the lead of this one. I want to be the lead of this one. You know, and she's also
Right.
bringing some money to back it. She could. This could be a Gail Weathers movie. I don't think it's enough. I don't think that's going unless they have something really good. But I just, man, I don't know, man. It just it makes me very very nervous of the state that we're in right now. It kind of like
Bro,
I'm not gonna sit here and say it depresses me or
excuse me.
something, but it definitely it's kind of a downer because you're hoping for the best, man. You're like, oh, maybe they'll bring her
Right.
back. Maybe they'll bring Melissa Barrera back. Maybe they'll but it's still just a big question mark. Like we pretty much Melissa ain't coming back, but it's just such a big question mark if Sydney's coming back. We don't know what these scripts are saying. We don't know which direction they're writing in, and
Right.
it just man, it just kind of sucks, man. It sucks. I feel like we're gonna know something. I honestly thought we were gonna know something by the end of this month, but we'll probably hear something within March. I mean, that's what I'm hoping for.
Right.
We got to be hearing something, at
Now I'll
least a
say this.
director.
I know they said that the rumors are is that the script is finished, or at least a rough draft of the script is finished.
I don't know.
I personally, this is how I feel about that. Okay, if it is, cool. Then guess what? We're gonna run into the same fucking problems that we did with Scream 6. We're gonna run into the same writing errors. You're writing this shit too fast. You're not
Yeah.
taking time to really go over and proofread what the fuck you're writing. This is why we had the issues that we had with Scream 6 with Bailey being a cop, but yet he's using a fake name. Oh no, his real last name is Kirsch. We have all this, and this is, I feel like this is why it's the same thing with Scream 6. What happened? Oh, Nev's not coming back. Well, shit. Now we got to work around this script again. And instead of taking time, and I'm not even really blaming the writers about that, it's the studio. Oh, we want to crank these movies out every year, the next 3 years. Or at least 2023, we came out, all right, we'll take a break 2024, but we want it out the next year, 2025.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, Destin, we grew up on an old school of horror movies not just being blood and guts, all about blood and all about, like with the Jason movies, nudity and shit. We grew up with horror movies that had fucking compelling stories. Scream has a compelling story. It always has had a compelling story.
Mm-hmm.
When you start tinkering with that, that's when you start losing the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Because the audience, we as content creators who sift through all this information, who sift through these movies, and we're listening and we're seeing through the subtitles. We're reading and watching how this dialogue is playing out, and we're just like, well, wait, how the fuck did you get to this point? If we
Yeah.
don't do this shit for a living, even though we're basically getting into it, but we're talking about guys who've been experienced writing stories for a while now, and we can poke holes in certain pieces of dialogue that doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And to read to rush, instead of being able to relax, take a breath. Okay, this is how we're going to write the story. We're going to place it this way. We're going to place it this way. We're going to place it that way. And then boom, everything just comes together. Look at Eli Roth. What he's doing with Thanksgiving too. Take a year off. Then we're going to start writing. We're going to get ready for it.
It's
That's
crazy.
that's
Go
how
ahead.
that's how you can continue telling compelling stories if you take time in between to really hone in on it and stuff. And It's like Steven said, man. The Scream franchise is truly snake bitten when it comes to studios.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah. I mean, at first I thought we were like in good hands. For the most part, we kind of were. But now, I mean, dude, they're gonna have to do a fucking magic trick, dude. They're gonna have to really, really try because this. I feel like we might get some mediocre shit, man. We might get some stuff that's thrown together. But
Right.
what's giving me hope is that the way that they do want Sydney, they do want Nev Campbell back, makes me think, okay, they got something good for her story coming up. They got something that's like, but they
Right.
just have to get her though. They have to get her, and are they willing to buy her? Are they willing to get her for that price point? Because honestly,
Right.
you better be listening to your fans because a lot of people are already ready to boycott you and don't want anything to do with you. The only way you're really going to get us
Right.
back on board is if you give us something that we want. If you do, because I mean, like, you don't have Sam, you don't have Jenna. I don't think Chad Mindy's enough to bring people back exciting. I don't think even Courtney Cox is enough to bring people back exciting. I don't think Hayden Panettiere is enough. The thing that you need to bring it back and market it around is Sydney's return. This is
Actually, actually, it's the fans who've been calling for Hayden.
Well,
It's the
yeah, I
fans.
know, but I'm talking about like,
So
yeah, the fans.
but
But I'm
you're talking
talking
about
about,
casual, like people just like, oh, I want to go see this horror movie, but I don't know what it's really about and stuff. Yeah, I
and if
get
it's
that.
and if she's like the front runner, they're gonna have to remember, or they're gonna be
Right.
like, all right, well, why is this our lead now? Like they're not going. I don't think they're going to be able to be connected as much as we are. So yeah, yeah. I mean, it's all in how they market it. It's all in about where the story goes. If it's some mediocre bullshit where it's just like, oh, it's just your typical Scream movie with a similar outcome, it doesn't need to be that. It doesn't need to be that. I mean, this
Right.
literally is going to be the make it or break it sequel of the Scream franchise, depending on what the studios decide to do with it. If they decide to be in like, oh, we don't need any of these leads and we're going to go fresh, or if they're like, oh yeah, we got to have Sydney back, we got to have Patrick Dempsey back, we got to do
Right.
this the right way. It's going to really show. It's going to show. And you know what? If they do give us some mediocre shit, I mean, I do want the Scream franchise to, what do you say? Like, I want it to be, you know, I want it to succeed. I want it to be financially successful. But if we don't have any of this stuff, if we get that first trailer and we get all this information out of like who our new actors are and all this kind of stuff, and it looks like some typical thrown together by the numbers type of Scream movie, and we don't have Sydney, we don't have any of the leading characters back, and even if they bring Courtney back and she's the person given all the rules or some bullshit, that's not enough for me. I don't need Courtney Cox to be back and give me all the rules, and she's playing that
Right.
character now. And I'm afraid that that might be the way that they go about this. Honestly, if it is going to be some bullshit like that, I don't want it to succeed. I want them to fall flat on their fucking face and give these rights over to somebody else and let's start fresh. I don't want to go down that route. Like it needs they could I mean honestly, man, after what they made off of 5 and 6, they could pay Nev what she wants. I don't know what her price tag is, but I'm pretty
They
sure.
could have paid her what they wanted in 6. They're just being fucking greedy bastards.
Right. And with them not having Sam or Jenna back, they definitely could do it now. And it really, dude, I'm not, I know I keep bringing up
Oh,
Courtney Cox, but
there's
she's
no
always,
excuses.
right, but she's always been the highest paid actor in these movies. She always
Mhm.
has. And even over Sydney. And it kind of pisses me off because, especially at this point, with the position that Courtney Cox is in, as far as like executive producing, she could front some money.
Mhm.
Be like, let's get Sydney back here. Let's do this, you know. And it makes me wonder: is Courtney Cox pulling for her? How is their relationship? I've always wondered that in the past years. I know, like early years, they were cool, but recent
Yeah.
years, when it comes down to business and money, and we're this far
Right.
along, it's like, am I rooting? Are you rooting for me the way I'm
Yeah,
rooting for
it's
you?
weird. Isn't it weird? And then I'm going to answer Dom's question. But isn't it fucking weird that we have not seen Courtney at any one of these Scream reunion conventions?
No, she doesn't. She doesn't need it.
It's
She
weird.
doesn't need that extra money. She's Courtney Cox is loaded, man. She invested her
Yeah.
money right. She's even got those shows that
Yeah.
she's executive produced. Um,
Yeah. But I
but
mean, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I just feel like man, listen, man. Look, I just feel like this. You know what I mean? You're part of this legacy. The Gail Weathers character is a part of this legacy. You know, like you should be up there with all of them.
yeah,
Like that's how I feel. You should be up there, you know, with what I mean, hanging out with the fans. You know what I mean? Who keep churning out to see you in these movies. Fans literally want to see Gail Weathers back in these movies. Like, I'm not gonna lie, just when like David has come out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he comes out
I don't know,
occasionally.
man. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I get it, like she may not feel like she may not need it, but it's just like, man, fuck
be
all
selfless about it.
that.
Don't be about the money.
Like, come out.
Don't be it. Yeah,
Right.
don't be
Like,
about you.
right.
Be come out and show some love. And she seems like she's got a great sense of
Right, exactly.
humor and stuff like that. But man, when it comes down to
Yeah,
business and
she seems
money and
like
stuff
she's
like
cool if
that,
you ask me.
yeah,
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 she
and a lot of
seems
the
like
stuff
she's
that I've
cool.
seen.
Like,
But it makes me wonder, like Nev Campbell and Courtney's relationship when it comes to business, because it's got to do something to you, Nev sitting there and being like, I'm the lead of this movie, but Courtney's getting paid more than me.
mhm.
And, like, and now she's an executive producer on it. I mean, it's got to do something to you. It's going to be like, it's like I would be coming to you, Marcus, and I'll be like, hey man, pull for me, man. Like, you're one of the executive producers on this. Like, tell them, bring me in. Like, I
Right.
need this, throw me a freaking bone here, whatever the fuck Austin Powers said back in the day.
Right, exactly.
But
Exactly.
it makes it sound like maybe Courtney is just maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to say anything negative about
It's
her,
just
but
it's just like w
it makes you
it's
think
just
that
like
she
what
might
did
be
you
selfish in
see?
the situation.
It's like what you see with athletes sometimes.
Hmm.
Right. It's like what do you see with athletes sometimes? You have that one star athlete who's on a very fucking bad team. He's
Hmm.
making all the money in the world, but he's on a really, really shitty team.
Yeah.
So what does he do? Goes to the front office. Listen, I will give you 10 to 20 million out of my salary to go get me some fucking help. Go get me some great players to play with.
Hmm. Hmm.
Sometimes you got to take that for the team.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to do that. I know. I mean, listen, I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do with their money or whatnot, but I'm glad you brought it up. How you brought it up. If we were a part of a big movie franchise like Scream, and you were the lead, but because I've done outside things, I get paid a little bit more. And you said, Joe Marcus, like, yo, come on, man. Like, especially your executive producer. The first thing I'm saying is, okay, well, this is what's going to happen here. First, I mean, first off, if he's not coming back, then neither am I. Because this duo doesn't stop. This has been consistent since the beginning. You're not
Right.
gonna fuck that up.
Yeah, because she could
You know what
put
I mean?
her money.
Especially
She could
not
pull her money if she wanted to.
right. You're not going to fuck that up. Wes Craven would not stand for it. That no, you're not. She's going to be in this movie. If you want me as executive producer, and if you want me in this movie, you got to bring her. You got to bring him. You got to bring him.
Mhm.
Give him what he's worth. You know what? My salary. All right. So what is he asking for? All right, he's asking for $4 million. Well, how much are you giving me? We're giving you 5.5. Okay. Well, you know what? You take that. Here goes a 1.5 mil, 2 million. You add that to his pay. Here he goes. Can we get him in? Here goes right here.
Yeah.
I'm already fucking making money. I'm getting a producer credit. I'm still making millions.
And you probably get some type of
I'm
residuals
making
off of.
residuals, streaming views, YouTube clips. Oh, they get all that fucking royalties, bro. All those royalties. But see,
Mhm.
this is the thing, and it's been unfortunate because this is why Nev has been putting her foot down, because this has been going on since for too long.
Right.
She took a pay cut to come back for Scream 3. She took a pay cut to come back for Scream 3.
Mhm.
I mean, how much more do you expect somebody to keep giving and keep giving of themselves to a franchise? But it's like, we want more out of you. We want more of you in our franchise, but you got to take less pay. What?
Dude, we
That
should
don't make
we
sense to
should make a
me.
we should make a thumbnail and make videos compare. It'd be messed up, but it's kind of clickbaity, comparing Gary Barber to Harvey Weinstein and put them like together on a thumbnail and like pointing
No,
fingers or
bro,
pointing arrows at each other and like get Gary Barber like really like let's see if that shit will blow up, you know.
I'll clue you in on something real quick, and I'm trying to figure out exactly how to do it. Like, you know how you can like kind of put your head on like an actor who's talking and stuff like that in a scene, but you can like edit it and put your head and place it on there as like some type of AI shit like that or
Yeah,
whatever. I was basically gonna redo a reenactment. I was gonna do a reenactment of the Tom Cruise Tropic Thunder scene when he's on the video and shit, and he's snapping out about the director. I was gonna do that with me doing the Tom Cruise part, and then the director, I was gonna put Gary Barber's face on the fucking director and reenact that
that's
whole
funny.
scene and shit. When he's like, "Who's the key grip? You hit that director in the face really fucking hard," and shit. So I'm working
Damn.
on it. I just got to figure out the special effects aspect of it, but that's a great idea.
Yeah, I
That
think
that that is a
they do
really
have some of that. They got some of that face swap stuff with the AI stuff. So yeah, I'm sure it
yeah.
can be done for sure. Wow.
Oh, it
Yeah, that's
definitely
funny, man.
can. But Dom did ask a while ago, and I want to catch up with some of these chats. Dom said, "Would you guys like to see a universe with our favorite slasher villains?" Destin, I'm gonna let you answer first.
Yeah, absolutely. I've always wanted this. I've actually made my first audiobook. I haven't. I got all the images put together, and I got the story of it, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't have it voice acted yet. And I did release one
Oh,
audiobook, but it was something different. But that's kind of like the idea of what I'm doing with. It's called Slashers of the Night. Um, so that's my thing. It's like
nice.
it's like they're all like in
Oh,
this like
that's I like that title.
yeah, they're all like a big security prison, and they do like a prison break, and they're all together. Um, it's like the
Right.
first episode. So, so yeah, I do like that idea. I don't really want them versing each other. I would like that to be like maybe there were moments where they kind of snapped on each other and almost like Freddy and Jason snapping at each other, but then they team up together. They're all together,
Right.
and it's kind of like an old school Dracula or Frankenstein movie where the townspeople are coming after them with pitchforks and shotguns, and and all that kind of stuff, and it's like them versus the people, pretty much. So, yeah, it's like a Universal Monsters take on the slashers that we all love. So, yeah, dude, Dom, I love the idea, and I kind of got an idea. I got the first episode already written out. I just got I just got to get voice actors, man. They're not
Yeah,
cheap.
I'm not against that neither. I think, oh hell no, man. I'm not against that idea neither. I think Freddy versus Jason kind of moments leaned into that, especially with how Freddy used Jason, to kill to gain his powers back. There was kind of, there was kind of an allegiance there, even though it was kind of unbeknownst to Jason. There was an allegiance there.
Yeah.
Freddy played the shit out of Jason. But yeah, I would love to see that. Like, I mean, you got Michael, Freddy, Jason. I mean, in one movie together, and they're fucking people up. I mean, sign me up. Let's go. Like
Right.
I'm about to say, you know who else actually I would also like to see kind of merge together,
Who's that?
and it's only because Wes Craven created this, this character too, Wishmaster and Freddy.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I think that would be an interesting cohesive unit.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. Like, but yeah, man, I'm on board with it. I like that idea of you know, having a slasher movie where instead of these guys battling each other, they're just going around mollywopping people, and then there's just these group of people who are going to take a stand, and then we'll see what happens. Like I'm not against it at all.
Yeah, I think it'd be kind of fun. Like you do like the main slashers like Freddy, Jason, Michael, Chucky, and maybe even
Yes,
Leatherface. Have them like the main, and by the end, you do the
right,
whole Marvel thing. There's an after credit scene, or there at the very end, you bring in a new slasher leading into the next one, and
right.
we keep building upon this roster. I think that'd be a fun thing to do. I mean, you just got to get them all under the same umbrella, or it'd have to be like a Sony Disney type of thing, like sharing the Spider-Man universe or whatever. So yeah, it's and then you got to do budgets as well. You got to make sure that like both parties are going to make that budget back. So what would be the budget that they would split to make the movie and all this? So it it could be done right. It could be done. I mean, if they do it right, it would have to be a little bit of tongue in cheek, but it had to be fun. You know.
Right. Real quickly, DJ plays favorites. What's going on, DJ? Thank you for stopping in tonight. I hope you're having a great night. DJ saying, I like Dominic's idea. Do a time travel prequel. Go back to before Sydney's mother was killed and tell the story of why she was killed and come back to the present state of the movie. Time travel. Holy shit.
I don't know about time travel. I don't want time travel at all. I mean, but if we did like a time jump
That's-
or we did like a prequel, it maybe one thing that I would like, and I am kind of toying with in my Scream Origin script, is the movies that Maureen Prescott was a part of back at Sun Studios. Um,
Mhm.
you know, maybe the mask, maybe the Ghostface costume came from one of those films, and that's what gave the idea of Roman bring in that, because I'm always like, why pick this costume? Why this? And it doesn't have to be anything specific or serious, but if they did do it like, let's say Roman came to Billy and Stu and said, "Hey, look, your dad's having an affair with my so-called mom. This is why your mom left you. We got something in common." And he presents this mask to Billy, which leads on to the rest of the franchise. But maybe where Roman got it was from the studios of one of the movies that Marine was playing in, and he was like, "Oh, well, yeah,
Father Death.
this is suitable. This is suitable." Like,
Yep, Father Death the movie.
yeah,
I'm
yep,
on board with that idea, man. Like, why not?
yeah.
What's
Was
wrong with
that one of the
giving a what's
was that
wrong
one
with
of the what was those movies that Carrie Fisher
that
was
Marine played
saying?
in?
Yeah,
Creatures of the San Andreas Falls, Space something.
and zombie something, right?
I think so.
I
Hold
think
on,
one of them was
I'll
a
pull it
zombie.
up right now. It's on Screen Wiki.
Yeah.
It's under her character bio. But yeah, man, like I like that idea, man, for sure. Like, why not give it a little meaning to it, especially for Marine?
Yeah, being like this is one of the movies that she was a part of, so and you can make it to where Marine was actually the final girl in one of those movies, and that's why it's also suitable in this scenario. So
I have a whole three-part fan film idea that I want to do or whatnot. And you already know bits and pieces of it, but I've actually kind of like pieced the trajectory of it together over the last week or so and
mhm.
stuff like that. And I'm gonna talk to you, more about it when we have time when we're backstage and stuff like that, because I don't want to reveal too much details and stuff. But I think I think it can work, especially once I break it down to you. I'm interested to see what you think about it. I'm interested to, get your take on it
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of that, I
because
am gonna have to call it a
I would
night
definitely
soon.
heard that. Yeah, I kind of figured that. So I'm about to say because there's not really too much on Terrifier. They did bring out like a Damien Leone dropped a picture, and I did want to touch on that real quick. So I'm about to say we can zoom through these last two topics, and then at like an hour and 30 call tonight. So like another
Uh,
13 minutes.
yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
If you're good, if not, if you're good on that, bro.
No. You're good. You're good. I'm good with another
All right,
13
cool.
minutes or so.
All right. So Marine Prescott, bro. I'll look that up real quick, and then we'll talk a little bit of Terrifier and talk about these Winnie the Pooh Part 2. Destin, did you see Winnie the Pooh Part 1 yet?
I have not. That is something I've been really wanting to watch recently. Where is it? Where can I watch
I'll have to
that
check out
without
the
purchasing
streaming.
it?
I'll have to check
I'm
out
looking it up right
see if
now.
there's any streaming. Um, Another question. Have you watched Texas Chainsaw 2003 at all lately?
Have I watched what? You cut out for a minute.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003.
The remake?
Yeah.
Recently, I have not watched it. I love that movie though. Seen it several times.
I'm gonna say you remember the overall premise of everything, right? So you basically remember that movie.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the Blu-ray commentary of that movie?
I don't believe so.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna save it and I'm gonna do a video on it, but I'm gonna send you the video first before I publish it on YouTube
Okay.
because I'm interested to hear what you think about it. Because
Okay.
because we know they're doing that TCM sequel or whatever and stuff like that. So
Right. Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. I got Marine's list. Um Amazombies, Space Psychos, and Creatures from the San Andreas Fall. She also did 3 plays: The War on Earth. Oh. All right, The War on Earth, Young Woman, and I Want to Scream.
Ooh,
Yeah.
interesting.
That's why I said that's why I paused, bro, when I saw that one. That's interesting. See, you can play off of that. That's
Mm-hmm.
where you could say that's where the Ghostface mask came from.
Came
Like
from that one that she was
that's
in.
interesting.
Yep.
Hell yeah,
Mm.
that's crazy. I just found that out. That's nuts. All right, so before we wrap this stream up, guys, we are gonna call it a night in about 10 minutes. It is getting late. It's about to be 2 o'clock here on the East Coast or whatnot. But before we do wrap up this Scream 7, Terrifier 3 talk, and Winnie the Pooh, we're gonna rush through the Terrifier 3 and the Winnie the Pooh talk real quick. But because Destin has not seen the first one. So I'm kind of glad that I'm not going to give too much spoilers away. But basically, what I did a couple days ago, we got set photos from Winnie the Pooh Part 2. And Destin, remember when I told you about Winnie the Pooh? One of the biggest issues I had was like the special effects and the makeup.
Yeah.
It looked so fake. You could tell Piglet was a mask.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So what I did was they dropped these new photos because not only is obviously Winnie and Piglet going to be in this film, now Tigger's arriving and Owl's going to be in it
Right.
or
And
whatnot.
the owl looks kind of
So
like
now,
Jeepers Creepers.
yes. So now, obviously, this is the new look for Winnie the Pooh. Let me take this comment down so you guys can get a great look at it. The side by side comparison. But the one on the left is from the first one.
Mm-hmm.
It looks more like the one, obviously that we grew up watching and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Why is
The
this
one
not?
to the right kind of has like a werewolf look to it almost.
Yeah. Like it really does. And I like that look. He looks more sinister.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks pretty dope.
All right, this thing is jumping on me, so all right, I'm just gonna move on to the next one because for some reason it's jumping. All right, let's try it again real quick. For some reason, it won't let me pull up the comments. All right, we're gonna move it on. I ain't gonna keep messing with it. It's being funky. StreamYard being on his bullshit.
Yep. It happens. All right.
Hell yeah. Oh. And then obviously Piglet. Now the one on the left was from the first one, Destin.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering when
And
I saw these pictures. I was like, these pictures look kind of cool. I don't remember the first movie looking this great.
no, it was the one on the left is from the first movie. It was terrible. It's god awful. Look at that difference.
Yeah,
Now,
but they
granted,
obviously made
obviously,
enough money to do something better.
yes, they're working with a better budget. So kudos to them for making the most out of that budget because the makeup and effects seem night and day compared to the first one. Like, even though I'm not a fan of the first one, the way the
Mm-hmm.
characters look make me want to watch the second.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, they
the
look
makeup
good.
looks great. And another thing, what I like too, I'll pull up here because we didn't have Tigger in the first one.
Right.
Now we do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like the fact that he doesn't look like the cartoon version.
Well, yeah,
Like he looks badass.
yeah.
Like
Kind of gives me Doctor Allen and Doctor Moreau vibes. If you remember
who?
that movie, The Island of Dr. Moreau. Did you ever watch that with Val Kilmer and uh,
No.
Brando? Yeah, pretty
Huh.
wild movie. Yeah, they're like on an island, and there's like these. They were messing with like these genetics of like human and animals.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Huh. That sounds like some man best friend shit.
good movie, man. I liked it.
I would say, have you ever seen Man's Best Friend with your boy Henriksen?
I have. It's been a long time. That's a movie I want to
Bro,
revisit with the
bro,
dog. Didn't the
that's a
dog?
great
Di-
movie. I love that
yeah.
movie.
Didn't it? Didn't the dog like climb a tree like a cat
Yep.
almost or something?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it ate a cat.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. That's what. Dude, I was probably early teens. Look, I'm looking it up right now. Yep. Man, yeah, that's another movie where I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have to do a watch party on that.
Right. Yo, what's up, Ben? Thank you for stopping in tonight. Ben saying that he thinks they are on Peacock Destin.
Yeah. That okay. Yeah, I saw that. Okay, I'll definitely look for it. Oh yeah.
All right. And now obviously we move on to the owl. I ain't gonna lie, this fucking owl looks cool, man.
The
Like,
owl
and I
does
like
look cool.
it does. Like, and I like the whole tagline, guess who's joining the party? That's pretty
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, yeah. That's pretty cool, man.
It
I
is.
hope it
I'm
lives
not
up.
yeah, I mean, listen, we're gonna have to do a watch party together on Winnie the Pooh, the first one, and we're gonna have to see what you think about it. Again, me personally, I wasn't a fan of it, but what I
Hmm.
will say is this: from what I'm hearing plot wise about the second one, I might actually like this one a lot better than the first one because I felt like the first one there was no direction. That's what I felt.
Hmm.
This one seems we're going to have some direction in terms of where the movie's being set. So it's interesting, but hey, you know what I mean? Hey, listen, even if you this type of movie, Winnie the Pooh horror movie isn't for you, you got to give these guys credit for trying to at least come up with something different.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, something that's like a little bizarre, but kind of cool. And I really think that they may try a lot harder with this second movie. So
Right.
I really wasn't intrigued to really see the first movie until I saw marketing for the second one. So now I am.
Right. So, Destin, you've seen the first two Terrifier films or no?
I have.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you've seen this the other day, but we got this new set photo from Damian Leone on Instagram. And, and obviously this isn't a good shot. I should have went into Canva and edited it up and blew it up a little bit. But I don't know if you can see where my cursor is, but you see that board behind art there?
Mm-hmm.
Now, apparently, when you like really get a good look at it, this is basically a scene from the Terrifier. Like I'm talking about like the carnival fucking ride wherever he's at or he's based at. This is most likely going to be set in that location because when you go back and look inside of the Terrifier, amusement park, whatever, you can see like basically this exact same thing in a certain scene in the last one. So I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what his facial expression. I mean, he looks pretty serious in this moment, so maybe some shit's going down. But I'm I'm excited for Terrifier 3, man. I'm actually going to be later on this week on the morning podcast. I'm actually going to be doing a live review of both Terrifier 1 and 2 and then sharing some theories about part 3. I'm excited for it, man, because I feel like part 3, like from a storyline wise, I think it could have a twist that would really really be cool, and I have an idea about it. It's interesting. Like I think that this is definitely going to be a fun story that is going to be encapsulated if Terrifier 3 is going to be an encapsulation of the story.
Yeah, I
What are your thoughts
honestly,
on Terrifier, Justin?
I need to. I mean, I do like it. I Terrifier 2. I had a great time at the cinema with it. I liked it a lot better than
Yes.
the first movie. I need to try to
Yep.
rewatch the first movie again. Something about that first movie, I just could not get connected, and that was okay. I was like, okay, I see what they're trying to do. I just for some reason just it wasn't for me. But when Terrifier 2 came out, I was like, wow, okay, this is same thing with like maybe the same result with Winnie the Pooh. They didn't have the budget with the first movie. They gained the budget, and now they're doing something better. They're really trying because they got the money now, and
Right.
that's what I'm hoping for. And I think Terrifier 3 is probably going to be probably the better of the three. I think they're just going to get better as they go.
Right.
Um, until Damien decides to sell the rights or something like that, which hopefully he doesn't. But it gets in somebody else's
Right.
hands, is what I mean. So,
Oh yeah,
uh,
absolutely. I can't personally see that happening. We'll have to see
yeah,
though, man. It's gonna be fascinating to see how it plays out. I'm excited for Terrifier 3, just like you said. I think the reason why, I like Terrifier 1, but I'm in the same boat as you. I
hmm
think what it was, bro, is that Terrifier 1 was the introduction of Art the Clown, like this version of him. So we didn't really get a story. We just got
hmm
an introduction on this entity.
hmm
2, we got a backstory. And that fucking backstory is looking like fire. So I'm interested to see what Terrifier 3 has for us, bro. I cannot wait for that to come out. Like, yo, the back end of this year, just like the back end of 2023, we got some solid horror movies coming out.
I know, man. I know. Honestly, I feel like February is kind of like the dry month, and then we're going to be ramping up with movies. All of March, April,
Right.
May, June, like they're
Well, I will
steadily
say this,
coming.
buddy. I'm confident now that we've starting to get some more holiday horror films like Thanksgiving, A Wonderful Night, stuff like that. Maybe that'll start opening up for maybe some more Valentine's Day type slashers
hmm
to where
That would be
February
cool.
won't be so dry. Hell yeah. Like like I
Yeah.
said, like the one we watched last week, Lover's Lane, that wasn't bad. They could definitely fix some things, but it was okay. It was watchable.
Yeah. Just get some more lighting. Because a lot of the stuff was
Like I
dark.
enjoyed it. I thought it was seeing them do it. Yeah, I know.
Yep.
Like the camera work wasn't that great, but the premise and everything wasn't bad. Wasn't bad at
Yep.
all. But I know you got to get going, my friend. I know you're tired. You got to get up in for work in the morning and stuff like that. I got to get up in the morning as well because I got the 10 o'clock podcast to do. So we are going to call it a night here, everyone. Thank you, everybody who did stop in tonight to hang out with us. This was definitely a fun conversation. And be sure to tune in tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Let me pull up the banner here real quick. Tune in at 10 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow morning as I will be doing a live stream of the Exorcist Believer. I'll be doing an episode of the morning podcast. This will be episode number 2 covering Exorcist Believer. I wanted to do this a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, did not get around to it. So now we're finally getting some of these movies that I haven't been able to get around to. The Exorcist Believer, Wonderful Knife, The Jester, movies like that that came out towards the back end of the year that I haven't been able to talk about. We're going to be talking about it a lot here on the stream this week. So I'm excited, man. I got some streams coming out. You know what I mean? I got a lot of content that I'm going to be pushing out this week. And Destin, before we do go, do you got anything you want to promote, my friend? Do you got anything coming up?
Uh, this uh this Saturday, I'm hoping that we can get back on track with film roast, and supposed to be doing Vampire in Brooklyn. We've had to put that off the last 2 weeks. Just my sister-in-law started a new job, and her hours are messed up. Really don't want to watch it without
Right.
her because it's first time watch for her. And
Right.
so yeah. Hopefully we can get that back. If not, I was thinking that if she can't make it this week, then maybe we'll move it to something else. And do a different film roast. Hey, dude, we could freaking do Winnie the Pooh. That's definitely a film roast material.
That's good.
But yeah, we'll figure it out. I have to see what her schedule is for the next weekend. And Scream Talk Friday night. And yeah, just same old, same old. I'm just doing a lot of writing right now, trying to lay low, and I really, really got to put my mind to it, and I want to get some of these scripts done. And I'm trying to
Right.
get I'm trying to get some reels together too for for backstage for like
Yeah.
my acting reels and stuff like that. So
Right.
kind of I'm trying to take some bigger steps here and do some stuff that I've wanted to do for a long time. So, and then also, you already know it. I haven't really announced it, but I'm waiting on to hear about that position. So I got like a lot of irons in the fire
Yep.
that I'm just like I just need some closure on. So yeah, man.
Right. I feel that, man. Like I said, brother, everything's gonna come together. We just got to keep plugging away at it, keep putting in that work, man, and everything's gonna fall into place the way we want.
Yep, I believe so, man. I believe so.
Hell yeah, my friend. Well, everybody, this was definitely a fun chat. Everybody get some rest. Thank you guys for tuning in to the third episode of the Late Night Creep. I'm gonna catch you guys in the morning. This is I Shot 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel. I'm your host and creator of the channel, Marcus. This is my good friend Destin, and we will catch you guys at a later time.
Nice. Man, I'm sorry, man. I wish I had more energy right now, dude. I'm like running on fumes. I gotta recharge my batteries.